Hi, everyone, and welcome to the HYPACK in the Cloud and Absolute Ocean Workflow webinar. For today's presentation, we're going to go over this workflow. And Jocelyn, can you go to the next slide? We're going to go over introductions, a demo of HYPACK uploaded to the cloud, what is new with HYPACK, a demo of Absolute Ocean, and customer testimonial of HYPACK and AO in the cloud. Throughout the webinar, we will be taking questions. You could submit your question in the question drop-down box. And our presenters for today's presentation are Jocelyn Kane of HYPACK, Suri DeLang of TerraDepth, Patrick Jennings of TerraDepth, and our very special guest, Victor Hernandez of CPROD. And with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jocelyn.
Hi, everyone. So a brief overview of HYPACK and what we do. We were founded in 1984 to supply software to the hydrographic survey community, and we are currently a leading provider of hydrographic and dredging software worldwide. In the time since our founding, we have supplied over 18,000 licenses to over 7,000 companies worldwide, which equates to thousands of licenses in use each day. We support over 400 different sensors and devices, which can be used in all of our software solutions, the three main ones being HYPACK, HYSweep, and DredgePack. And we provide the surveyor with all the tools they need to design surveys throughout the whole process from beginning to end. So that includes collecting data, processing data, reducing data, and generating final products. And here is Siri to talk about TerraDepth.
Thank you, Jocelyn. And I'm actually going to give it back to Brittany for the first poll of the day.
So the first poll we're going to do is, have you ever had difficulties finding your old ocean data? We'll give everyone a minute to respond. We are still collecting some votes. Okay, looks like everyone has voted, and the results are 84% said yes and 16% said no.
Great, thank you. So a little bit about TerraDepth. We are a vertically integrated ocean data as a service company headquartered in Texas, and we have a second location in Florida. We have three main business areas. We have a survey services team. We are also building a long-ranging AUV, and we have Absolute Ocean, a geospatial data management solution purpose-made for ocean data. So I saw a lot of you voted that you had problems finding ocean data in the past. This is exactly why we created Absolute Ocean. The main ways our clients are using AO today are, for one, for data management, so finding your data, and that includes ship to shore, and also for data collaboration and dissemination, both internally in teams and with end clients. So why are we partnering with HYPACK in making this enhancement? Well, we're trying to make a better workflow for you, our clients. The feedback from clients and market in general is that you wanted us to make it easier to exchange data between the processing software and Absolute Ocean. So we are thrilled to show you this integration between the two products. The two ways that you can use the two products together are, for one, you can take the entire ocean data workflow to the cloud, including your HYPACK processing. And then the second way is you can still use HYPACK locally, like you do today, and use AO for data management, visualization, collaboration, and dissemination while using this new integration. So let's talk about taking the entire workflow to the cloud first. Your entire solution would run in the cloud with AO as the data platform to minimize data movement. We have an upload and download tool to help make it easy to move large amounts of data to the cloud. And when it's in the cloud, your terabytes of data don't need to move around anymore. So everyone can access it there, including your hydrographers, your processors, and data consumers. So the benefits, your processors can do their work from anywhere. You don't have to take up an expensive seat on the ship for them. They can work from home. There's no expensive hardware needed on the ship. You can scale up and down easily in the cloud, and you can reduce the time from data collection to data consumer to less than 24 hours. And also you can increase data security using the solution. So number two, the traditional way of doing this, you can still run HYPACK locally as you do today. You can take advantage of the integration, so you can easily find your raw data in AO and download it to HYPACK, and also push the process data to AO when you are done processing. And you can do all of this from within HYPACK. Benefits, you can still reduce time from data collection to data consumer to less than 24 hours. You can provide clients with an easy-to-use tool where they can access and collaborate on the data themselves. And you can save time by replacing PowerPoints and PDF reports with access to real-time data from AO, and use that saved time to perform additional projects and gain additional revenue from that. So then back to Brittany for the next poll question.
Okay, and our second poll is going to be, how do you send data to processors and to customers today? We still have some votes coming in. Give it another couple seconds. People are still voting. And again, the answers that you can select from are hard drives, FTP site, traditional cloud, and other. Okay, it looks like everyone has voted. The results, 35% said hard drives, 19% said FTP site, 42% traditional cloud, and 4% other.
All right, so now to demo using HYPACK and Absolute Ocean. I'm going to start off right in the HYPACK shell. I have a project called CT River Railroad Bridge already open. And I'm going to go over to Utilities, File Work, and then click on the Absolute Ocean Integrator. And you'll see when it first opens, my current project automatically populates on the left-hand side with the project and all the files that are in it. And all my folders are going to be the same as well. So I have my edit folder, which matches up to my edited files on the side. And I have my raw folder, everything you need. Go ahead and log into my account. And since I already have a project started in Absolute Ocean with the same name, it finds that for me and populates with the files that are on the Absolute Ocean side. If you don't have a project started already, it'll start with a create new project chosen, which means it doesn't exist, you're ready to upload your project. Now that I already have it, I want to upload some of the missing files. So I'll click color, and I know I don't have this text document. Click upload, and down here at the bottom, you'll notice it's listing the files as they're being uploaded, and it'll tell me when they've completed. And it looks like it does not like me running the webinar at the same time. So I'm gonna close the program and come back into it. But we can see that that file that I uploaded is now listed on the Absolute Ocean side. And if you, like I was saying, you may not have your project in Absolute Ocean already. Instead of selecting the checkboxes like I did for a single file, if you're uploading the entire project, you can just go ahead and click Synchronize with that Create New Project option selected, and that'll import all of the files up to Absolute Ocean and create a project with the name of your current project. It also works in reverse, and you can select to create a new project in HYPACK. So I want to download some files because now my coworker who's in the office a state away, could be a continent away, has been editing my data for me, and I want everything he's been working on. And I can click download and the message will appear. It's working on that file. It's complete. Lovely. They've both been downloaded. And we can see now they are on the HYPACK side. The lists will update for me with the new file names. If you have new versions of the files, if you try to download, let's say, it tells me that it already exists. That prevents me from downloading older versions and overwriting my current work. But say I know it's a newer version, I click Allow Overwrites, and this time it will download it for me. And that works for uploading as well. If you are out surveying, I'm on the boat, my coworker's in the office, I want to get him the files as fast as possible, I can click the auto sync button, and that'll transfer the files from HYPACK to AO and AO to HYPACK in real time, and it'll look for the files that do not exist in each source and complete the process for you. And another nice handy tool, since we're closing out of this anyway, I can show you that I got all those nice files, and now I can see them in my project. All right, so I can also click this login on startup button, and that means when I close out and log back in, or go back in rather, it automatically populates. I don't have to spend time retyping in my credentials. So that's a good way to quick start anytime you come back into HYPACK. And now I will pass this off to Patrick.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Now, before we dive into AO, let's take a quick pause and do the next poll.
Okay, for our next poll, we are going to do is how long in general from the time data is collected until your customers see it. So 24 hours, 1 to 2 weeks, 1 month, and over 1 month. Let me give it a couple more seconds. People are still voting. Okay, looks like everyone has completed their votes, and we're going to share it. And it looks like 25% of people said 24 hours, 46% of people said 1 to 2 weeks, 25% of people said 1 month, and 4% said over 1 month.
All right, thanks, Brittany. So here we have Absolute Ocean, and a few things to point out right from the gate. So the platform is browser-based, meaning you can access it as a web page from virtually anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection and a computer or tablet. standard username and password to log in, and we also have single sign-on with Google and Microsoft. This is a growing list, so if there's anything you don't see here, it should be here in the foreseeable future. Now, as we're building this out, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people across the industry. We've learned that in general, this industry has been kind of slow to fully adopt the cloud. And that's really boiled down to two reasons. People don't necessarily trust or understand the security in place, privacy when it comes to using the cloud. And then the other big one is people are concerned about upload or download speeds being slow or hindering the process more than it helps. So with Absolute Ocean, we've built this specifically for this industry, and we've solved for all of the above, as you will see. So we'll go ahead and log in here. So this is what you see when you first log in. It's a very simple Google Earth style interface. So we designed this to be simple enough to not really require a large learning curve for training investments. That way, not just technical stakeholders like surveyors and geophysicists can find value, but also non-technical stakeholders as well. So people like regulators, upper management, at the end clients, parties that may not have extensive backgrounds in these analytical platforms and GIS softwares. So there's basically just two buttons. It's a menu button here in the top right and a projects dashboard here in the top left. And we're actually going to use this projects dashboard to find the data set that Jocelyn just uploaded. So we can query for that, and we see we have the Connecticut River Railroad Bridge project right here. So we'll click on view, and it'll ping us to this exact location on the globe. You can zoom in a little bit. We see the beautiful multi-beam and LiDAR data. We've already taken the liberty to visualize these in the platform, which you can see right here. Now, everything in Absolute Ocean is visualized in full resolution. Regardless of how large the file is, AO will never sacrifice the resolution in order to visualize. You see here, everything is in proper context. And we also have some light analytical tools as well. For the measured distance right here, get a general idea of how long this bridge is. If we want to check the area of coverage, we can do that as well. Now, it's important to note, we did not design this to replace HYPACK or any of the more analytical softwares that you're already using. What AO is meant to replace is hard drives or these traditional cloud solutions like SharePoint or WeTransfer. A lot of these were not built to handle the workload of this industry, and we want to make sure we can accommodate the unique challenges of working offshore, working with ocean data. Now, if we go into the projects, you can click this title right here. It brings up a few tabs. This first tab under details is where all of the metadata lives. Everything in here is queryable and gives some insight into the project itself. This description box is where you can really get creative with keywords. Since all of these are queryable or searchable, you want to put anything in here that would make this easier to find in the future, whether it's a month from now or 10 years from now, anything that would help make this easier to find. If we navigate over to files, you can see that we have all the files in here that Jocelyn uploaded. Now, there are a few industry-specific features that we've built into this too. One of them is to accommodate the inconsistent connections to the internet that are sometimes experienced offshore. So Absolute Ocean is smart enough to know what files are already uploaded and what files are new. So if you're ever working offshore and the internet connection cuts out halfway through an upload, if you restart that same upload, Absolute Ocean will scan through and just pick up where it left off. So that way you never have to upload in chunks or batches. You never have to worry about what made it in there, what didn't make it in yet. You can just rest assured that no duplicates will happen, and you can pick up from where you left off once you have internet connection again. Absolute Ocean will also work with the most recent file as well. So if you have edited a file that's already in here and you re-upload that file, the platform will automatically replace the older file with the new one. So that way you're always working with the most recent version. You can even query for specific files within this tab as well. So Jocelyn had uploaded a color file. We search for color. You can see the file that she uploaded is right here already. And if we want to, we can just download that locally. If we want to download the entire project, we have that option as well. We can even query for specific file types. If we want to find matrix files, we can do that. If there's any reports in here, we can find reports as well, whatever you're looking for. And then any files that you visualized will show up right here. See a list view. And then under group access is where you decide who gets to see this data and who does not get to see this data. So security and privacy around data are obviously very important. We want to keep everything up to date, make sure that the correct stakeholders have easy access and nobody else has any access. So that's managed right here. Now let's say we want to share this with our group at Teradepth. We can move the Teradepth group over here to assigns. And once we hit save and exit, everyone in Teradepth will now be able to access this project if it is shared with them. If we want to remove their access, we can remove this group as well. Now it's very easy to manage the personnel within each group. So if we want to add or remove people, we can do that from the menu up here in the top right. So we're going to share this. We'll hit save and exit. And now if we're ready to pass this along to somebody else, we can actually click this button right here and it will generate a link. You can then email that link to somebody internally or at our customer. And as long as the person on the receiving end has access to this project in Absolute Ocean, they'll be able to click on the link and it will take them right into this exact location. So this is project updates, getting feedback if you run into an issue, it's an area of data that you missed, or even just sending final deliverables and giving people a chance to see what the data looks like before needing to download anything or render anything themselves. Now, before we go to the next projects, we'll take another pause and pass to Brittany to do the last poll.
Okay, so our last poll is going to be, what is your main concern with moving ocean data to the cloud? Ability to upload large amounts of data, security and privacy, cost, and new things are just hard. Couple more seconds for people to finish voting. Okay, oh, people are still coming in. So we're gonna take a couple more seconds. Okay, looks like everyone has voted. 40% said ability to upload large amounts of data. 27% said security and privacy. 20% said cost, and 13% said new things are hard.
All right, all over the map for that one. So we're to the next data set. It's worth mentioning Absolute Ocean has a lot of use cases, and they pretty much all fall under two main categories. We have the data management side, so basically helping people save time, manage the flow of data in a much more efficient way. And then the other set of use cases fall under customer facing, as we call it. So a way to enhance collaboration and enable better relationships with customers, regulators, or all stakeholders involved with the data. So we can keep that in mind when we continue to go along. Now, we want to find projects in a specific part of the world. For example, if we type in Italy, all the projects that we've done in Italy will pop up. At the moment, that's just one. So go check it out. Now in here, like before, we get this summary window that shows a high-level overview of what it is we're looking at and a list of all the visualizations associated with this project. So this is a good example of showing some of the data types that are available for visualization in Absolute Ocean. So here we have a gridded data set, floating point geotiff. We have our point cloud showing the bathymetry as well. And what I really like to show is the side scan data. So as Siri mentioned before, we are a geophysical survey company here at TerraDepth, and our main focus is on autonomy, more specifically working with AUVs. So we collected this data ourselves with our Teledyne Gavia AUVs. You can go in and see it's very high resolution side scan data. But at first glance, it's hard to see exactly what's going on in here, what the purpose of this project might have been. So a little background, we were looking for anchor drag happening on some subsea cables coming off the shore. So where are these cables? We don't want to go search around manually. So we actually overlaid this project with vector files to represent the cables coming off the shore. So right away, we can see there's a bit of an anomaly happening over here. And zoom in and investigate a bit further. We'll turn the vector off, zoom in, and we can see right here in the data itself that there's in fact anchor drag happening on this cable. We can see exactly where it is, what it looks like, and quickly make decisions on how to address this. And this was all accessible in less than a minute. To be able to pull this up, direct our gaze to the exact area where problems are occurring, and be able to make decisions on what's happening. And then we can go in and download the files that we need to help with the decision-making process further. You can tell a bit of a story too. So when we switch to 3D mode, we'll actually go back to the bathymetry data. So when we uploaded this file, we physically edited the topography in this area, the terrain itself, where it's using our data to get all the elevation. So if we look in the bottom right, we have lat, long, and elevation, right now displayed in WGIS 84. And the Z value, or the elevation value, is based on our data. If we go back to imagery and look at the side scan, this is actually draped over the updated topography. So we can zoom in here. We have a hotkey to vertically exaggerate. Do that a couple times. And we can see there's a bit of a cliff right here. So what likely occurred, somebody anchored up right around here, drifted a little bit, slips down this little shelf right here, and then takes the cables along with it. So again, all of this is available within a minute. You can pull everything up and be able to make quick decisions and have better collaboration around this data. There's also a business development use case as well, having all of these projects cataloged here in one place. So to help with the bidding process, it's nice to have one place where it's easy to find beautiful looking data sets, show them off. If anybody has long-term customers that they do a lot of repeat business with, sometimes it's nice to have a catalog of all the work you've done for that customer. They can go back and see, verify that you've already done work for them in a certain area, whether it was a couple years ago or 20 years back. Sometimes it's nice to know that you've already been there before. And now we're going to pass it off to our friend Victor Hernandez from CPROD. He's going to talk about this data set in Mexico, among a few other things too.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Aguirre Hernandez. I'm the General Director of CPROD. CPROD is a 31-year-old hydrography survey company, and we have been using HYPACK since the start of the company in 1994, something like that. and we have been using Absolute Ocean since 2022. Absolute Ocean has helped us a lot with two major issues that we have encountered in the trajectory of the company. One is data storage, and two is the ability to close the gap between the field survey team and the decision-making process. In regards of the data storage, we have surveyed all the ports in Mexico, and Absolute Ocean has helped us a lot with this information because we have different projects, different ports, different clients, and different years that they overlap with the ports. Sometimes we have a client in the port of Tampico, for example, and we have another client in Tampico, another, and it's keep making a great snowball. So Absolute Ocean has helped us to bundle up all this information for easy access for ourselves and also for our clients that for XYZ reason, they have lost information because they stored the information on physical hard drives. We're able to pull that information out and deliver again to the client more easier. And as Patrick just showed you, it's a very intuitive and interactive platform for consulting and sharing information that has been a lot more easy process. The other is closing the gap between the field survey team and the decision-making process. When CPRAT started, there was no internet on the field, so we had to wait for the survey team to come back to the office to check the data. And sometimes if something was wrong with the data, the field team had to go back to the field and do the job again, or do the portions of the job that had an error. And this meant more time to finish the project, and more importantly, it generates a lot more cost, more expenses in the process. As the years have come by, and with the expansion of the internet connectivity, the time gap between the field and the office has been shorter, but we're still talking about days between the delivery information. With the Absolute Ocean integrator, we have been able to use it. Our survey processing team has near real-time data that has been collected by the field team, and this has allowed to make better decisions and give instructions to the team almost immediately, almost in real time, and we have made the workflow more efficiently between the two sides of the teams, the survey team and the office team. The other game changer is how we present the information with non-technical stakeholders on the projects. Myself, I am a firm believer that we as people, we comprehend better when the information presented to us is visually appealing and interactive. And with Absolute Ocean, we have shared visualization, as Patrick just showed you, and we're going to show you an example in Veracruz. Here in the project of Veracruz, we have all the information that is required to comprehend and to make better decisions for the project. And this has allowed that the non-technical stakeholders are more invested in the results of the project. It's not the same look at the information in Absolute Ocean that just some printed charts or some PowerPoint presentation. With Absolute Ocean, we have been able to ground these non-technical stakeholders to the project, and they can visualize the information from different angles, and they can measure, they can make measurements, areas for better decision. For example, in this project in Veracruz, there's an old wreckage that is dated back to the Mexican Revolution. And with this, a non-technical stakeholder can open the link of Absolute Ocean, and they can see, oh, we have a wreckage in front of the fort that measures around 30 meters long. They can measure what is the distance between the wreckage and the fort. They can measure what is the distance between the wreckage and the navigation channel. So this gives them nearly real-time decision making. If they need clearance for a boat to pass by, they need to show this to somebody else that might not be very savvy in hydrography and in HYPACK. it has closed the gap with the client as well. How they comprehend the data and how they visualize the data. And the other things that I'm very excited with this new moving forward is the one in HYPACK in the cloud. So we can enable processing anywhere easily, and we can scale up and scale down as needed. And we will not need to move a large amount of data around. Again, we have been working with HYPACK since the start of the company, and we have been working with Absolute Ocean since 2022, and it has been very helpful for ourselves and for our end clients. Yeah, it has been a great experience, and I have nothing but thank you to both companies. And again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Right, and then we're going to pass back to Brittany to talk about the contact page.
All right, guys. Well, first of all, we want to thank you guys for joining us for this webinar today. Please make sure to visit our workflow information page. You can find this on our HYPACK website, and it will also be emailed to you with the recording of this webinar. And on that workflow landing page, you can find our brochure, our Q&A document, and our case study. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We can be reached at sales@hypack.com and hypack@terradup.com. And if you're looking for a free trial and demo, contact sales@hypack.com. And now with that, we're going to start the Q&A portion of the webinar.
Look like a good one's coming through now that I will show a bit of a demonstration for to answer. So the question is, are you restricted to only using the Absolute Ocean integrator on your current project? That is no. So you can choose any of your projects that you have in your project directory to work from. And you can do the same on the AO side. So if you had, maybe you wanted to make a duplicate project with some differences or use it to start off another project, you could select a different project's name and upload to that one instead, download to whichever one you choose. And important to note that if your HYPACK project directory is not in the default location, you can click that button and go to a different one. So maybe you want to work from your projects that are in an older version of HYPACK. So I could navigate to that and choose this projects directory, and all my projects will pull up. If your current working project is not in the default HYPACK project location, when you first open the integrator, it'll start on just the first project in that directory. So that's what will populate this. But after the first time that you select the location you want to work from, it will remember that location and then pull up those projects instead. And it doesn't matter where that project location is, it will always match your project structure, will always match your project structure in HYPACK, and all those projects will populate.
All right, we have another question here. Is there any limit to file size using the integrator? So I don't believe there's any issue with the integrator, but I know with Absolute Ocean, there's no limit that we're aware of for transferring a file in or visualizing. We even have one that is 23 gigabytes in Absolute Ocean, representing 1.5 terabytes of uncompressed data. It was the largest single file we could find that could be visualized, and there was no issues getting that up in Absolute Ocean, after which point Once it's been visualized, it's available to the correct stakeholders 24/7 if they want to access that.
So we did have a question here on when uploading and downloading, how are datums and GeoIDs handled? So you can actually import and store files in any datum within Absolute Ocean. And of course, we have requirements to file formats and so on for visualizing. We use the Proj library for visualizing. So anything that is supported by Proj, you can visualize within AO. So quite a bit of flexibility for datums to be used basically within Absolute Ocean. And again, we'd love to have a more detailed conversation on that as well, if you are available on that. But yeah, we do have pretty decent flexibility. Keep in mind, we don't change your core files. The only thing we change behind the scenes is the visualizations that we create within Absolute Ocean. So your files, as you uploaded them, will always be intact.
We got another question as well about AO not sacrificing resolution for visualization process. And does this apply to LiDAR point cloud data as well? Can you see the full point cloud data set as you zoom in? And the answer is yes. So everything is still in full resolution, whether it's GeoTIFF file or LAS, XYZ. Whatever resolution you've processed it to, AO is capable of visualizing it in a full resolution.
All right, another HYPACK question was, what happens if you lose internet on the HYPACK side as you are trying to upload projects? So it will, in that message box at the bottom, will tell you that you are not connected to internet and that your file will not be uploaded. And then either if you are in the office and your internet's just not working for some reason, you know to go ahead and reconnect. If you are out on the survey boat, then once you are back connected to the internet, you can start uploading files again.
Okay, guys, we are out of time, but we will get in contact with everyone who had some unanswered questions over the next week. And please look out for an email from us with the recording of this webinar and our landing page link to learn more about this workflow. And we hope you have a great rest of the day.